They're all over the place. Get them. They're so close.
I got one.
Don't get cocky, kid.
But it's a Pod Bros exclusive. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Sean.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. And for the record, I am not in my basement.
Yeah, I don't live in a basement.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so I wasn't going to talk about it, but since you had to bring it up.
I had to. I felt like I had to. My wife's sitting there. She read this thing, and she was like, don't let it bother you. It looks like it's bothering you. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
So I tweeted it out recently. So being a podcaster, just being kind of us in general, like you want to be liked. I'm kind of narcissistic in the sense of like I'm like going out and trying to see, is anybody talking about us? Is there an article that says, hey, I started listening to Language of Bromance and they're awesome? Well, so somebody did write about us, and it wasn't in I don't know if it was meant in any disregard or anything like that, but I took it that way a little bit, kind of a little bit backhand compliment. But so we appear in the same sentence as the podcast Serial.
As well we should.
She has 1 million downloads per episode. We have not that many. A little bit combined. We both have like 1 million.
Over 1 million.
And 3 episodes downloaded. They have 1 million, we have 3, but combined, we're doing really well. So we went to that podcast movement a couple months back, and I sat next to a nice lady named Catherine, and we were just kind of chit-chatting back and forth, and I gave her my card and found out that she works for like an NPR-type radio station. And this is the nice lady that decided to write about us. And it's not really too much of a big thing, like not really about us. She's talking about the conference. But in that, she talks about how podcasting is kind of an open thing. It's a do-it-yourself kind of thing where, there's blockbusters for podcasts like Serial. And then she said it's kind of also for people who do it in their basement for their own amusement, like the Language of Bromance. And to that, I say, I do not do this podcast in a basement.
All right, I am upstairs in my house.
Mom? Huh? I'm doing my show. I want to go down. All right.
All right, now I'm in my basement.
Mom, will you bring me a Hot Pocket?
Mom, meatloaf.
But just a side thing, not a big deal.
You know what? Honestly, I think the reason that it cuts a little is because it's the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about that.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to, say, oh, everybody go shit on, this article or, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I think it just illustrates that, the internet isn't always a nice place. And I think it should be noted that sometimes the people on the other end might have feelings.
But I mean, you think about it too. I always kind of get curious about this. I think Howard Stern is, he's a radio guy, and
right.
and Catherine, she's from NPR's type radio, so she's a radio person. And sometimes I feel they look at podcasters and they think, oh, well, they're just amateur hour. It's just these people jerking around, not to be taken serious. And to that, I say, we both work pretty fucking hard at this thing.
I mean, we try. I'd like to think so, but
I mean, this will be our 70th straight episode, so we're doing something productive.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, I like to think so. I like to think that I try and put some effort into it. I think that I try to give the impression that I'm extremely grateful for anybody that listens. And we do. I mean, and that's the thing is like you weigh this against, all the positives. I mean, there's people on Twitter, there's people on Facebook, there's been, reviews on iTunes, and and a lot, and I'd say almost all of those have been good. I mean, actually, really, when you think about it, to say that over a year has gone by, and this is the first time we kind of feel a little sting, and it's not even a direct slam.
Well, yeah, I would consider it more of a slam to like podcasting itself.
Yeah, in a way.
You know, it's people that can do this in their basement and, you know, rig up their mics on their computers and, you know, chit chat and throw it out there, and
it is. But I think one thing that a lot of people are failing to realize is that you can do that and you have just as much a chance as being successful as somebody with a giant production booth and state-of-the-art equipment and, you know, a powerhouse behind you. And that's the thing I love about it. I love the fact that I feel like it is a level playing field across the board, and it's kind of the Wild West in the sense that I think it comes down to content, and it comes down to consistency and perseverance of yourself. And it doesn't really, you know, the other stuff, while it may have an indirect effect, it doesn't buy you an audience.
Well, the big thing with podcasting is there's no gatekeeper. You know, if you and I went to a radio station right now and said, "Hey, we want to do this show," they're probably going to be like, "No, you don't have a name, so why would we want to give you a show?" But we can come out here, we can record this, edit it ourselves, do all the work, and put it out on the internet. And, you know, we've made a ton of internet friends from that. I mean, I would say we probably have a consistent, you know, in the hundreds of listeners, which I think is awesome. You know, each one of them, I love when they contact us and chit chat with us. Or it's the same thing like I've said about whenever the wife listens to the show and she laughs at a joke that we make.
Exactly,
you feel good.
And that's the thing is, passive aggressive comments, or even, I mean, like I said, we haven't had an official bomb thrower or anything like that. So I like interacting with people that like interacting with us. I guess that's all I'm saying. And I don't, and like I said, you know, it wasn't even like a burn. It was there, and it's like, no, okay. But I think it was, since the simple fact that it was the first time something felt kind of snarky.
Yeah.
That I was like, well, what? Wait a minute. I'm a person. I have feelings.
Well, I think what burned me is,
why don't you love me?
What burns me is, you know, I sat next to her at this conference and we chit-chatted for a while. We had s'mores. We went out for a ride. She touched my leg.
Whoa.
She didn't really touch my leg.
No, she didn't. And there were no s'mores.
But yeah, it's and I like I said, I feel like it's more of maybe a backhand comment or backhand compliment towards just podcasting in general, because, you know, it's and I try to put myself in like a radio person's shoes. Like, she's done this professionally for 30 some years, you know, and you see a bunch of Joe Schmoes coming on talking about dicks and farts and zombie bears. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, there's going to be a degree of condescension, and that's fine. I've said my piece, and now I feel like I'm ready to set that down, because there's no sense in holding on to it. I'm taking that, I'm putting it down, and I'm walking on.
Putting that in a box, wrapping it up, putting a nice little bow on it, and
now putting it in the ocean.
Ocean of my tears. Did you listen to the episode about the Sasquatches? That's a good one.
All right. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna lift the tenor of today's show up. And you know how I'm gonna do that? With zombies. And how better to do that with zombies. Okay. So I found this, and as soon as I found this, I was like, I have to mention this. I feel like this is something that needs to be mentioned. Governor Sam Brownback, this is of Kansas. Governor Sam Brownback of Kansas this week will sign a proclamation designating October as Zombie Preparedness Month in Kansas. So October in Kansas is Zombie Preparedness Month. For those people that listen in Kansas that were unaware.
Get prepared, everybody.
Get prepared, because the governor has proclaimed it.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? They talk to the governor, and he's like, "Well, look at us, we're flat. You can't even hide on a hill out here. You're screwed."
Right? That's a good point. Like, where are you gonna run? You aside from buildings, where are you gonna go?
You could see him for miles too.
Although I think that's to your advantage because then you can see a zombie horde from like miles away.
Yeah, Kansas is such a flat. I mean, the drive through Kansas is always super rough.
Oh, it's unbearable. You're driving, and a tree pops up, and you're like, "Oh, a feature, a topographical feature."
We've talked about it before, and I know in your family, you guys you have a zombie escape plan.
I do. I have no idea what to do if my house catches on fire, but in the event there is a zombie apocalypse, I totally have things figured out.
I always it's an easy thing to think about. In my old house, it was a split level house. So I always thought, like, okay, if the zombies come, I need to tear off the back porch so then they can't get to the top part. Then I can tear out the steps in the split foyer so they can't get to the top level, and then we can survive on the top level.
So you're planning on staying in your house?
Well, if I got stuck there, that would be
Okay.
my plan. I mean, ideally, you'd want to try and get out of town. So let me hear your zombie.
I'm not telling you. If I tell you, then people I know are going to copy it. And then you know what that brings up? Scarcity of resources. And then I'm going to have to kill my friends over food. And why do you want that? Why do you want me to do that to those people? Because you know what? If I have to kill those people for a loaf of bread because they listen to my zombie apocalypse plan, their blood, sir, is on your hands.
I come knocking on your door. Bang!
All I'm saying is, I'll say this. My plan involves a secure location within close proximity to food, weapons, and materials for defense. But I have a location figured out.
I remember where it is now. I won't say it.
Quite ingenious of myself, I must say. So if you're walking, if you're out on a walk and you see a building, like, it has some high windows, maybe there's bars on the windows, one possible entrance, maybe a side exit. Keep that in your brain. That's all I'm saying. Take that and file it because you never know when that might come in handy.
I was just thinking the other day. So let's say you're out in this scenario, and this kind of comes up because you and I have always been pretty big on zombie movies. 2004-ish Dawn of the Dead remake came out.
Dead. Yeah.
28 Days Later came out. So that all kind of pushed me into really enjoying the zombie style movies and scenarios. Played All Flesh Must Be Eaten, like a role-playing game. We did stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
So as I was sitting one day eating my lunch, sometimes these scenarios play in your brain, especially since I've been watching a lot of Fear the Walking Dead. And I was trying to think, if I was out in the middle, of like a town or, a little place, but you couldn't get into a building or away from places, like you always want to be somewhere where there's a fence, The Walking Dead had the prison.
Right.
And I was thinking about this. A pretty decent setup would be a baseball field because all around it's fencing. It's not great fencing. I mean, it wouldn't be.
I was gonna say it's not high.
Usually they're about 6 to 8 foot. So I mean, it's about what your normal height on a lot of fences would be. They're not probably the sturdiest things in the world.
Yeah. So what? You're gonna sleep out in the field?
Well, you could sleep in the middle. And depending on what the zombies do, if they're fast moving, that's not going to work. Because I'm sure enough of them are going to plow the fence over. But let's say they're actual zombies, slow moving. If you're in the middle, I wonder if they'd get bored after a while and just go off on, like, try to find something else.
They're not going to get bored. They're zombies. They got forever. Also, I think that plan works if you're in a temperate climate. But let's say it's, December. It gets cold. In some parts.
It's not a permanent solution. It's more of you're stuck. You need to figure out your plan. jump over the fence because the zombies won't be able to, and you can just kind of hang out in the middle of the field for a bit until you figure out what you need to do. It's very much a temporary solution. It's not your be all end all.
I would also think that, like, don't they have entrances to like the dugouts and stuff like that from the outside?
Yeah, I guess some of them do. It's a good point.
So you got to figure out how to seal those off. See,
that is a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, see, this is why you need a plan. You can't just hole yourself up in a baseball field and be like, "Oh shit, what do I do next?"
How'd that zombie get in here?
We're trying to educate people here, and you're like sleep in the middle of a baseball field.
Well, it was that or cut yourself and bleed over the place because zombies don't like blood and they can't smell.
What? Perfect.
It's not working. Damn you, Language of Bromance.
Yeah. So, see, you want people cursing our name before they're eaten and become... See, now we'll have this entire audience of pissed off zombies. It's going to be like, the reason I'm like this is because of you.
Well, they'll all have bumper stickers at least, so, free advertising.
We have a public service we need to address here.
So what's the big drive, do you think, to zombies? Because I was trying to think about this today, too. Zombies stuff has always still been around. Like, it doesn't seem to ever go away that I can remember. There's always seems like there's, like, vampires, werewolves. Those get, like, super, super big and then just completely disappear.
Well, it seems like when it comes to like, say, zombies and werewolves, you're not dealing with a... I think what makes... That's the thing that makes... It's always made zombies scary is that the fact that there's so fucking many of them. Like, if you're talking about werewolves, you're usually dealing with, like, say, at most, a pack, which is about 3 to 4. Vampires, you're not dealing with an army of vampires. You're dealing with, 1 or 2, and they're dressed up in Victorian-style clothes, and they're talking about how they're the vampire Lestat. But with zombies, you're dealing with hundreds of shuffling corpses just moving their way to eat your face. That is not something I want to deal with. Ugh. What?
It was a long time ago. I was trying to figure, because you're talking about vampires and stuff, and there's a pretty cool online comic that I saw years ago called Last Blood.
Okay.
And it was basically the zombie apocalypse. And what happened was the vampires came out and they were gathering all these humans because, if all the humans turn into zombies, well, then they don't have any food and they're going to die.
Ooh.
Which is a really cool idea. So you have these vampires fighting these zombies to keep humans alive. Well, it ends up what happens is the zombies come from vampires who haven't had blood in a long time. So basically they've starved themselves to become, zombies basically.
Okay.
It was a super good comic. I mean, I read it online for a long time. The website's still out there. It's just lastblood.net.
Kind of like 30 Days a Night?
Kind of, a little bit, yeah. Except the vampires weren't crazy trying to kill everybody. They were trying to save them. Like, they would feed off of people, but they wouldn't kill them or turn them because, they only had so many humans left.
All right.
And so I went to check to see because it's been years since I've checked this, and it looks like the last post was still from 2012 when at the Comic-Con that year, they said that they got financing to make a movie out of it, but I haven't heard of anything since. But I was just thinking of that scenario, so this was one of those things that right now this would be a huge thing, I think. If you said zombies and vampires in one film, it's going to blow up.
True. What if do you think, if zombies show up, let's say zombie apocalypse happens, do you think that we'd figure out that there were vampires and because then vampires would show up?
In this scenario, I think, yeah, I mean...
And then you'd have werewolves. You'd have vampires and zombies and werewolves. It'd be like a 3-way fight.
Vampires and zombies and werewolves, oh my.
For survival over the humans. They'd all be fighting over the scarce food supply.
There's just some fat dude sitting there watching these guys fight. And it's like, okay, well, who wants to take me home? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Who's got the popcorn? I don't know. I think That's going to be the thing with The Walking Dead and stuff is, episode or season 27. That's when that stuff comes out.
When what stuff comes out?
The zombies and werewolves.
Oh,
and
that'd be yeah.
the Loch Ness monster shows up.
It'd be The Walking Dead, and then because vampires technically are dead, so they'll be like, we're The Walking Dead too, and we want our moment in the sun.
It burns. Well, not literally the sun.
Not that moment. It's a metaphor. Who would win in a fight between vampires and zombies?
I don't know. Because it's the same scenario. The zombies are so many that even if you tried to fight, if a vampire tried to kill all these zombies, at some point they're going to get overwhelmed.
Exactly. I'm going to say I would think it's be the same as zombies versus humans. It's just that a vampire probably has the potential to kill more zombies. They move faster. They can possibly fly.
The zombies have no fear, so they don't care. Like they don't understand what death is. So,
right. I guess I'm in a one-on-one fight. Vampire takes the zombie hands down. But if we're saying 2 vampires versus 200, then what? Because it only takes one. It only takes one good shot, then it's all over.
Well, and they're going to start digging in and tearing, and if it's anything like Buffy vampires, if you tear them apart enough, they're just going to turn to ash. And then you're going to have a sad zombie. Oh, brains, crunch, ash, fire. Oh, hot. Oh, now I'm a sad zombie.
Now what? Guess I'll kill these humans.
They're not. That's what happened is they've killed all the vampires, so they're not moaning. They're actually mourning.
I'm so sad. They're just depressed. Maybe that's why it says Shaun of the Dead. Maybe that's why Ed doesn't eat Shaun, because Ed's not depressed. He's hanging out in the shed and they're playing video games. He's a happy zombie, and therefore not very bitey.
A non-bitey zombie is a good zombie.
Yeah.
Spay and neuter your zombies, kids.
A happy zombie is a non-bitey one.
So I guess what's your zombie go-to movie? And I guess we're kind of talking about a lot of stuff because it's the Halloween kind of season. So this is a good time to bring out the scariness of stuff. So I mean, I guess a better question is, are zombies kind of your Halloween go-to at all?
For me, yeah, I think that'd be a fair assessment. My kids have seen the original black and white Night of the Living Dead, which still, I mean, maybe not terrifying, but I think still is on par with any zombie movie you've seen today. Like, I would put the old Night of the Living Dead, black and white, I would put that up against 28 Days Later. I would put that up against World War Z. And I think it still illustrates as much, if not more, in terms of the actual meaning of what this would entail. You got the old school original black and white Night of the Living Dead. You have a bunch of people in a farmhouse, and they don't really know each other, and then tensions ensue, and meanwhile there's all these things beating at the doors and the windows, and they need to figure out defense. They need to figure out where they're going to go, what to do next, how they're going to get there. These are all real problems. This is real. That's my truth.
Well, I always feel like that's so you look at if you look at vampires and werewolves, the movie's about fighting those things. And with zombie movies, it feels more just that the zombies are there, but the struggle is more internal. It's more person versus person. Yeah, the zombies out there need to feed them, but it's not just one thing. It's more of, if you're being attacked by a vampire, it's a pretty much a single situation. If you win, you're going to have food, you're going to have water, you're going to have shelter still. But with zombies, it's that a complete collapse of society. So now, yeah, you may have killed this zombie, but you still have to worry about getting food. You still have to worry about, what's this group of people up here? What are they going to do to me if I get up to them?
Because I think it illustrates two different. I think it's almost two different apocalypse scenarios. In one, you have a virus that is killing indiscriminately. And then two, you have these mobs of basically cannibalistic creatures that are washing the earth clean in a way. So it's kind of dealing with two separate horrible things and combining them together into one big, terrible, horrible thing. Plus, I mean, I don't know. Would you leave the city you live in and like travel around?
If so society collapses and I've survived
I guess what I'm asking is, in Zombieland they go and visit Bill Murray's house. Would you go visit Bill Murray's house?
I don't know. I know in some stories they talk about, making sure you're always on the move. You never want to be in one place too long. And in other scenarios, they always talk about you need to basically get holed up in a safe place and kind of use that as your base.
I think the holding up thing is probably the more pragmatic scenario. I mean, keeping on the move, I mean, it sounds nice, but I don't know if it necessarily is the smarter choice or the wiser choice.
Yeah, because to me, what I would do is probably get like what kind of goods I can and try to get holed up as far away from society and stuff as possible. Because one, I mean, like you go see Bill Murray's house. That's in Hollywood.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in Hollywood. So you're going to be in, even if they're slow-moving zombies and it's been a while since it all fell apart, you're still going to have a lot to go through.
Also, considering where you're at, it's going to take you a while to get there.
Yeah, so there's resources you're going to burn up.
Exactly, and there's a whole lot of variables between here and there that could happen. Hey, the car breaks down. Hey, there's a giant horde of zombies in the middle of the highway.
Oh, look, looters. Our day's complete.
Hey, where's gas? Oh, the gas station's on fire.
Why are we on top of the mountain during winter? Didn't think this one through, did we?
I've seen this happen before. We have to eat somebody.
This is all your fault, Sean.
Right?
You're the one that wanted to go to the beach.
And then there's that one friend that you brought along just in case bad shit happened. So what are we going to do? Well, the whole reason we brought you is in the event there was too much snow, we needed someone to eat.
It's like, well, we didn't have a refrigerator for food, so we thought you'd work out. It's like, well, I could carry some. Oh, wait a second. You're as bad as the zombies.
I was going to say, that's the irony of it all, is that you're trying to escape a zombie apocalypse to avoid getting eaten by zombies, and you're eaten by humans.
Did I at least taste good?
Irony.
Yeah, I think small groups and probably trying to get just as far away from, my folks live kind of on a gravel road, tucked away a little bit. So I always thought like their setup would be pretty ideal. There's a creek on one side. They got woods all around them.
Would you pick up stragglers?
See, that's the other thing. You always see that in the beginning of shows too, is they always pick everybody up and they kind of become that big group. But the first time you mess up and bring in the wrong person, it's game over,
Right? Because that's what inevitably happens, is they bring in that one person that's kind of a hothead, or they're just, scared and they run away, and they're supposed to be a critical part of your plan and they run off.
Well, I think you'd have to adopt the DTA type thing. Don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
There are probably like a handful of people I could trust when that happened, and it's people I know right now. Going forward, if I couldn't get with that group of people, it's pretty much just family and that's it. Because I mean, you have to ask: would you want to trust your life and your scenarios that could play out in somebody else's hands?
Exactly. And in my case, no. Because like I said, I have a plan. And I'm even paranoid about it now. I don't tell people my plan now. So why would I do it when it's actually going on?
That's a good point. So was your plan that you were going to get a crown and like rope off a big area and you're going to be king of this area? You're going to be King Richard?
Now it is.
Welcome to my kingdom. Take off your
Yeah.
shoes.
Take them to the baseball field. Two enter, one leave, two enter.
You sit there with your Cracker Jacks and you just got zombies tied to each position.
That'd be awesome.
One kid throwing a ball for him to hit, and the zombie just keeps missing it.
Yeah, he just throws it, hits him in the head.
Charge the mound.
No, it's a ball. You can go to first. It's okay.
Real pitcher's duel today. So it's cool too, because whenever you think of these scenarios, everybody's always like, "Oh, I'd be the person on the car with a horde of zombies around me surviving." And it always really feels like you'd probably just end up being a zombie.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, you probably, but
Well, yeah.
but not me. I totally got this.
So to me, the most dangerous part of the zombie apocalypse, and we kind of see that with Fear the Walking Dead, which you said you haven't seen.
I have not.
I've watched all but the last episode so far. But to me, it's that initial shitstorm. If you could survive that, you have a better chance. Because, as you're going through your day, you're going to hear news of, oh, zombies are around. You're going to be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I still have to go to work.
Right.
Because you're not going to just be like, well, it could be real, but, if I stay home and I lose my job and it's not, we're just fucked.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a majority of people's downfall, is they're going to be like, come on. Like this whole thing's bullshit. And it's going to be those people that I think that's what makes a lot of those movies so believable, is you have those throngs of people that are just like, I don't even know what you're talking about, dead rising from the grave. And those are the people that get eaten first. So I think anybody that's listening right now, I think you're already one step ahead simply because you're aware. And you can all be kings of your own little zombie baseball fields.
You can, instead of lions, you just have two Zeds, tied to the side.
Yeah.
Name one Simba. Watch, I've always wanted to do this. Simba. It's like, is that blood? No, it's jelly. Don't worry about it. They love jelly.
It's grape. They like grape.
You'd think they'd like strawberry. It's red, but no, grape.
No,
Grapes are
that's
favorite.
the irony. See, there's so many things you got to learn.
Down, Simba.
Stop it.
Ah, it bit me. Oh, God, bang.
She was a good wife.
Did you push her, King Richard? I don't know. Did I push her? Why don't you come here and find out?
Click. Ask me again. No, I don't think I will.
I didn't think so. Grape jelly.
Now make me a sandwich. Sandwich. So, okay. I mean, I kind of have my plan. My plan is go to a secure location and hole up and basically live. I'll live out my life. Which honestly, don't you think there'd be a kind of peace in that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always think about, the day-to-day we deal with kind of sucks, but you still feel like you're not really in control of your own destiny, I guess.
Right. You're getting back to, you'd be able to get back to basics. Hey, I need to eat. Hey, I need to not die. Hey, I need adequate sleep. Hey, I need to make sure that things aren't going to bust in through the front door and eat my face. And that's all you really have to worry about. You don't have to worry about bills or
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Catching up on some TV show.
Right?
Kids are sitting there like, Dad, I'm bored. It's like, all right, you open the shades and it's two zombies fighting over a chicken. I love this show.
Well, not even that. It'd be like the kids would be like, I'm bored. And then you just roll up the window and be like, why don't you go outside? You want to go play outside? No. Why not? Because I don't want to get eaten. You don't want to get eaten.
Are you bored still? Now take your zombie out. You want it so bad.
Yeah.
If you don't feed it, it's going to start stinking up the place.
And clean up all these damn jelly jars.
I guess it goes back to the tough part would be that first scenario. And we've talked about this before a long time ago. I think It's easy to say, but I'm pretty sure I could do this. If you and I were in this situation, let's say it's you and me. You and me are the only ones that survive. You know, your wife tripped and accidentally got bit by a zombie. My wife accidentally tripped and got eaten by a zombie. And now it's just me and you, like we've always dreamed.
Okay.
So now I'm thinking it's a zombie apocalypse, and we're sitting there with our wives.
It's
and
finally happened.
Yeah, it's like push. What happened? Oh, sorry, babe. Secret lovers. But if it came down to just me and you, and if you got bit or I got bit, and you knew that's what was going to cause it, I don't think you and I would be too concerned about not taking care of that situation.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm hoping you wouldn't have any qualms about shooting me in the face.
And same with, because, if I'm like,
because
no.
I definitely don't have any about shooting you in the face.
Yeah. And that's the other thing you see in zombie movies. Somebody gets bit and hides it.
Yeah. Oh, see, I think that's the thing too. Okay. Say we're out and you get bitten. Would you bring it up to me right away?
Oh yeah.
You'd be like, guess this is over now.
So, and I'd fuck with you too, which would be fun. So, depending on this, let's say if you get bit, you turn right away. I'd definitely be like, oh shit, kill me.
Yeah, kind of like World War Z.
Yeah,
it was like 6 seconds or 8 seconds or something.
28 days later was kind of like that. But let's say it's Fear the Walking Dead style. I get bit and it speeds up, but it's still, I have to completely die for it to happen.
Right.
So I would do all I could to help you or whoever get out of whatever situation or be safe. But let's say you and I roll back into our place. I'm like, oh, Richard, I got bit, dude. You're going to have to take care of this. And, we'd have our little crying moment, be like, oh, I'm going to miss you so much. As I'm hugging you, I just start biting at your ear just to fuck with you. Stop it.
You just hug me like, you smell so good right now.
What are you wearing?
You would get to make that joke once.
You pull the trigger, you're like, that was kind of funny.
I wonder if you really meant it. I mean, I've been out here for a while, but we did run by that hot spring.
There was that Victoria's Secret I stopped by and used a little spray. I had to get some lotion, necessities.
Right?
We did push our wives over to the zombies.
Priority 1, sheltered. Priority 2, moisturize. So you're saying you would find a secure location and you would just kind of hold up there until help arrived.
I mean, I would probably understand that help probably wouldn't arrive, because I think that's the other mistake a lot of people would make in that situation.
They assume that everybody's just going to sit around and wait to get rescued.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that is something that is completely viable, and I think that's a mistake a lot of people will make. Is they'll think, oh well, somebody's going to come eventually. Yeah, maybe not so much. I'm thinking not so much.
Yeah, we've got a little bug out bag that I've, kind of created. It's just a few simple things that would kind of help. Like, so when thinking of these scenarios, the first thing I think of is like, I can't make fire without matches or, anything. So what I do, I bought a bunch of waterproof matches, because if that scenario happened, at least I'm one up on, not having fire.
Right.
We store a handful of canned foods, enough that could get us through maybe a month if we rationed. Usually we try to keep a little bit of bottled water. So the thought is you just load as much of that shit in the truck as you can and just drive to, secludedness and just kind of hatch it out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that trying to find somewhere a bit more remote, because I think that's also something people would do, is they would want to stay close to a city, because they'd be like, oh, there's resources there. There's food there. There's water there. But I don't know if people know this, but the place your food comes from is not the grocery store. You can go out and you can put these little things in the ground and grow your own food. And yes, you're eating cucumbers and tomatoes for, 6 months, but you are not a member of The Walking Dead.
And I have heard that most grocery stores only have enough food for like a community for like about a week. and that's it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
So, one, there's not going to be much food, and two,
and I think even less so because people are just going to go in there and just hoard.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you're going to fight. If you run into a grocery store as all this is going on, it's not going to be, people just let you get a cart full of stuff. It's going to be people taking your stuff or worse.
Right. You're going to have the grocery store is going to be just as dangerous as being out on the streets.
Yeah. And that's probably the second place people are going to go. And I learned something recently. So you talked about you could plant your own food. From what I've learned, most of the seeds and stuff are genetically modified seeds.
They are.
That are not built or created to basically create a second generation of plants. So those cucumbers you plant and you pull out the seeds thinking, oh, next year we can have cucumbers. Nope, not going to work.
Yeah, this is true. You have there is an actual seed bank in, I want to say, Northern Europe, where they hold original first generation seeds in that are basically there in the event of some worldwide catastrophic event, that we're able to grow food again or plants again.
Well, it's funny because people say, well, why the hell did we do that? That makes no sense. Well, these genetically modified seeds produce so much more yield. So, you plant that one that you can grow each year, you might get a quarter of the, crops that you would from that. But these genetically modified, you get, 4 times the amount. So it makes sense.
Made by evil corporation.
Evil.
They are evil. They are evil. There's evil as zombies, damn it. They're even worse. You know why? Because it's intentional.
They're making us reliant on their pseudoscience.
Yeah.
It's actually real science. Quiet,
no,
devil.
Shut up, you. Let's see how your hocus pocus works when there's zombies running around.
Dude, that's just a TV show.
This is my truth.
So, are you all caught up on Walking Dead?
I am not at all. Not even a little bit. I've missed. Okay, I'm trying to think. I watched the first few episodes of this last season. I think the first 3, and that's about as far as I've gotten. And when it comes to Fear the Walking Dead, haven't touched it at all.
So what's the reason? What doesn't get you into that show?
I think it's honestly, I think it's just it's not really a question of anything other than, well, it's 2 things. I would say one would be time, because that's the thing, is you got to invest in a new show. And that's a commitment. It's a commitment to sit down and say, okay, this is something I'm going to follow. This is something I'm going to follow consistently. And that's with all the things that everyone has to do throughout the day with work and, kids and family and other stuff and house stuff. And it's saying to yourself, I'm going to commit, so much time to sit down and watch this show from beginning to end on a week-to-week basis. It's a commitment. And I think that we're finally realizing that, because, with the things, you have things like Netflix and Hulu, and you're able to kind of binge watch stuff as at your leisure. I think that's kind of helping. But at the same time, there's so much. I think that there's such a good library of content out there that it's hard to pick and choose.
So is Walking Dead too big for you? Because I know when it first came out, you and I were like, this is awesome. Because I remember you gave me the Comic-Con trailer for when that came out, and our discussions were why hasn't somebody created a TV show for zombies yet?
Yeah.
So is the show too popular for you right now? Is that why you think you're not into it?
Oh, God, maybe. Because I am quintessentially that person that has to wait for something to be not cool for me to like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's hipstery of me. Maybe it is. I hope not, because I don't like to think of myself that way.
Oh my God, Walking Dead, such a conformist.
Oh, such a conformist with all your conformist propaganda.
Oh my God, everybody's turning into zombies. I'm not going to be a zombie like you zombie conformist. You walking around all dead and stuff. Not me.
I shoot myself in the head. 'Cause that's metal.
That's funny.
So yeah, I think, but that's one reason. The other reason is I don't think there's anybody else in the house that will watch it with me. And so not only would I have to commit to that show for that chunk of time, I'd also have to find a time that I can be by myself to watch it.
So the you don't think your daughter or anybody would like that show?
I mean, possibly my oldest, but I mean, I would say out of anybody, it'd be her.
Gotcha.
But even then, because that show has some moments. That's kind of one of the things I'm running into. I'm running into, like my daughter wants to watch these, movies that are, a bit more maturely themed and stuff like that, which is all fine and good. But it creates some awkward moments when you're sitting on the couch next to your 15-year-old and something comes on that you're like, should she be watching this? Should I be letting her watching this? Am I a bad father right now? Oh God, I am. Oh, I'm traumatizing her. I'm traumatizing her, and I'm sitting here watching it happen right
Dad,
now.
We should watch another episode of Rocko's Modern Life. No, we shouldn't.
No, it's corrupting you. I will not be the influence of your destruction. Anyway, point is, no, I am not caught up on Walking Dead. How is it? Like, how is it? Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse?
It's Walking Dead. I read the comic quite a bit, so I'm pretty into the show. I'm surprised it's as big as it is. But
like in terms of popularity,
yeah. I mean, it's really just. I mean, it's exploded. Like
it really has. Yeah.
So the thing that I find most interesting is, it very much has highs and lows. It's very character driven. So you'll see a lot of people complain. It's like, oh my God, there's no zombies. This is so boring. It's like, well, it's character development. That's why I really like it, is I think they try to dive into the characters a lot.
Yeah. Well, because I think that's what makes the show, and that's what creates the connection between the show and the audience. I think that one of the things that the show does is it makes the zombies tertiary to the story. I mean, the story is basically about these people. It's just set in this area that there's zombies around.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I've always explained the zombie shows aren't really about the zombies. They're just there to get the situation to happen. It's no real difference than like Jericho is a cool TV show. Kind of the same thing, just an apocalyptic event where you are just stripped down to the bare minimum.
Yeah, see, I would like that. And like I said, I think that's one of the things. I think that would be an added bonus to a horde of zombies that is wiping the globe clean. Is we're all like hanging out and we're living our lives and we're just we're growing some food and storing it for winter, and it gets cold and we're all huddled up and we work our field and there's no there's no electricity, or if there is, we've generated it ourselves, and everybody's just kind of hanging out and being cool, and things would be simpler.
Yeah. How long do you think it would take before you would disconnect yourself from the modern conveniences like your phones and computers and stuff like that?
I honestly don't think it would take long, and I think that that's true. That would be true for a lot of people, and I think that people would find that surprising. But with this crazy thing going on, I think at first people would be like, I have to know what's happening. I have to, everybody would have their phones out and they'd be like, I have to know what's happening. I have to know what's going on. But I think after a few days, it would just kind of become like, I need to worry about what's happening. Yeah, I need to worry about what's happening in front of me. And I need to stop worrying about what's happening around me in the world.
Well, I think you and I are kind of like this. We'd be the people that, so let's say you want some form of entertainment. I could find a book anywhere and be fine.
Sure. I could, or start Zombie Thunderdome.
Tickets, get your tickets.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Because then you'd have two zombies come in and you just like tie stakes to their head or something. Tie like T-bones to their forehead and just be like, have at it, guys.
Well, I think what I'd like to do is you put the stick on their head, but you put a chicken on the front of it, so they're just running around chasing it.
Or not even that. You just let them in with send in a horde, like send in like 20 zombies, and then you send in a greased pig. Oh my god, you totally read my mind because that's the first thing I thought of is play some Benny Hill music.
You just kind of nudge your daughter. It's like, who thought the zombie apocalypse would be so wacky?
Look at him running around in there.
They're so
cute.
Nope,
he's gonna get it. Nope, no, he's not.
Can we keep him dead? No, we're gonna kill him afterwards.
Yo,
They're zombies.
we should have next a sexy party.
So the other thing I was wanting to talk. So we're kind of in this zombie discussion. We talked a little bit about Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if you've ever seen this show, and I kind of feel bad about spoiling it, but I feel like it's something that you don't really. I've never seen it except this one time. Do you remember the TV show that was on NBC like in 2008 called Fear Itself?
No.
It was kind of like a horror Twilight Zone type of show.
Oh, I love Twilight Zone. How can you not love the Twilight Zone?
It's good stuff.
Oh, so good.
But Fear Itself was individual directors doing like horror hour-long episodes. So all of them were self-contained. You know, they had one about a vampire, one about werewolves, one about like it starred the old Superman. It was like a town that was almost a reverse. What's the one where the women were robots?
Stepford Wives?
Stepford Wives. It was like a reverse Stepford Wives kind of thing.
Okay.
And they did one called, I believe it was called New Year's or New Year's Eve. And it follows this girl, and I'm going to completely spoil this. So if you don't want to hear about this, jump ahead 5-10 minutes.
No, I'm down.
So it's follows this girl, and she goes to a New Year's Eve party, and like the guy she's with like blows her off, or something happens where they end up not leaving together.
Okay.
And so she goes home, goes to bed, and when she wakes up, all this weird stuff's happening. It's zombie apocalypse.
Ooh.
So you're following her trying to get to the guy she was wanting to leave with.
All right.
And so as she's going, there's a zombie that keeps following her. And, you know, she runs into one guy and he freaks out, and you know, she's just running all over the place trying to get to where she needs to go. And so the whole time you're watching, it's like, well, what the hell's going on? Kind of get to the end, she makes it all the way to the guy's house that she was trying to meet that blew her off. And you see him, and he's just freaking the fuck out when she walks in. And she just keeps walking towards him like, what the hell, dude? What's wrong? What's wrong? And the kicker of this episode is all of a sudden it flips to his perception of what's going on.
Uh-huh.
And she's a zombie.
What a twist!
Yeah. So she's going through all this stuff in her mind. It's just her. But she makes it to this place, and one of the guys that follows her is a guy that I guess loved her or whatever. But they end up basically killing the douchebag that didn't want to go home with her.
Oh, nice.
That's something we've never really seen, that MASH style episode of any show where it's from the perspective of, you know, like a zombie, or like, you know, in MASH they had the episode where it's from the patient's perspective.
Yeah.
You've never really seen that in like any of the Walking Deads or any TV show besides this one that I've known.
Yeah, there was a I want to say there was like a low budget indie film I saw that kind of tried to do the same thing, like tell the story from the zombies' perspective, where they're in their head, they're talking and thinking.
Oh, okay. Like in actual full thoughts.
Right, they're actually talking to people and thinking and having thoughts and stuff like that. And then it kind of like pans out and they're just like,
oh God, run, I don't want to eat you. Oh, you taste so good. Oh, so delicious.
I love this so much. We should do this all the time.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Tom.
Standing around the water cooler.
Standing around the brain.
Did you watch Fear the Walking Dead last night? No, I don't have time. What about you? Game of Thrones, maybe? No. I read the books. Oh, you're one of those people. And then all you hear is,
the two zombies walk away from him, and he's just standing there by himself. Even in the zombie apocalypse, I'm all alone.
Oh, man. So, what did we learn today?
So I learned that you're not gonna tell me what your plan is for the zombie apocalypse.
No.
That if I come to you bit, you're gonna kill me.
Yes.
Put me out of my misery. Not gonna kill me. Put me out of my misery. And if the zombie apocalypse happens, our wives are gonna have an accident and get bitten, and you and I will get to live happily ever after.
We'll ride off into the sunset.
With a trail of Zeds following us.
La 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 la. Holding hands. I picture us holding hands, skipping through a field, and the sun's going down, and then just behind us.
And what they're saying in their head is, "Oh, they look so happy. Let's catch up and say hi."
I said, catch up and say hi. Don't eat their face.
Oh, I want to eat their face so bad. All right, so in this Halloween-esque, pre-Halloween-esque, what do you have? Any Richard's closing thoughts that you'd like to throw out there?
Actually, here's the thing I want to put forward. Okay, my wife listens to this show occasionally, and so usually she's in the house while I'm recording, so she'll catch my half of the conversation. Your wife listens to the show on a regular basis. So I'm curious how the conversation's going to go when she finds out that she's going to suffer a horrific accident during a zombie apocalypse.
This is going to backfire on us.
This is going to be my closing thought is, how's that going to go?
Well, what's going to happen is they're not going to realize that we're joking. The zombie apocalypse will happen, and your wife and my wife are going to push us into zombies.
Right. They're going to kill us first. They're going to be like, I know how this plays out.
And then they're going to skip happily ever after.
The Victoria's Secret.
Oh, I wish I was still alive to see this.
Right? Because then they try on outfits and have a pillow fight.
Wasn't that what we're going to do?
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
All right, well, I'm going to do a little housekeeping.
Yeah, I'll just be alone with my thoughts for a sec.
Go to our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter at languageofbro.
Oh, yeah.
Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com.
Yeah, eat that beaver.
Like us on Facebook and subscribe and leave a review on iTunes and Stitcher.
Don't forget to check us out on the Pod Bros Network.
The best podcast site on the internet during the zombie apocalypse.
Except for the show that's going on in my brain right now.
And if you need any headbuds, go to tweakedaudio.com. Use the promo code LOBARMY and you'll get 33% off.
Which is also good during a zombie apocalypse because I feel like you should have music to listen to.
Just some death metal.
Yeah. Like
I always think
Slayer.
Like the best like tune for the zombie apocalypse is what they had in Zombieland.
Oh, yeah.
Was it some bells, isn't it? For whom the bell tolls?
Yes.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about before I close her out?
No.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Sean.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver.
Or eat the brain.
Eat the brain.
If we're zombies. A baseball field? Really?
Well, it's fenced in, and I just want to be on the field.
It'd be like Field of Dreams.
Field of Brains.